The Trump administration is contemplating exempting certain agricultural products, such as Canadian potash used in fertilizers, from new tariffs to mitigate potential negative impacts on U.S. agriculture. Tariff policies are a key tool in international trade, shaping economic relationships between nations and influencing domestic industries. As countries strive to balance trade protections with economic growth, tariffs remain a contentious yet necessary instrument of economic strategy. One industry particularly affected by tariff regulations is agriculture, where inputs like fertilizers are integral to maintaining food production and sustainability. The Trump administration has explored various trade policies, including the implementation of tariffs aimed at protecting American industries. However, these tariffs also impact agricultural inputs, materials essential for farming. One such input, Canadian potash, plays a critical role in fertilizer production, and imposing tariffs on this commodity could have significant ramifications for American farmers. To mitigate potential damage, the administration has considered exempting certain agricultural products, including Canadian potash, from newly established tariffs. This article examines the implications of such exemptions, the economic and political factors involved, and the broader significance of tariff considerations for agricultural sustainability. Background on tariffs and U.S. agriculture. Tariffs are taxes imposed on imported goods, intended to regulate trade by encouraging domestic production and discouraging excessive reliance on foreign products. Historically, tariffs have been used to protect American industries, but they can also create unintended consequences. For U.S. agriculture, tariffs affect the cost of essential farming inputs, including fertilizers, machinery, and animal feed. When these costs rise, farmers struggle with production expenses, making their crops and livestock less competitive in the global market. In recent years, the Trump administration enacted tariffs aimed at addressing trade imbalances and protecting American industries, particularly in manufacturing and technology sectors. While these measures have had mixed economic impacts, their effect on agriculture has raised concerns among farmers and policymakers alike. Higher costs of imported agricultural inputs could lead to increased food prices, reduced crop yields, and greater financial strain on farming communities. Canadian potash and its role in fertilizers. Potash, a potassium-rich mineral, is a critical component in agricultural fertilizers. It enhances soil fertility, improves crop growth, and ensures optimal plant health, making it indispensable in modern farming. Canada is one of the world's largest producers and exporters of potash, supplying a significant portion of the U.S. agricultural sector's needs. American farmers rely on Canadian potash to maintain soil quality and crop yield efficiency. Any disruption in the availability or affordability of this resource could lead to decreased agricultural productivity. With new tariffs on agricultural imports, the cost of potash from Canada may rise significantly, affecting farming budgets and food prices. Recognizing these risks, the Trump administration has contemplated exemptions for potash to protect American farmers from adverse economic effects. Economic and agricultural impacts of tariff exemptions. Tariff exemptions could alleviate financial pressure on farmers, ensuring continued access to affordable agricultural inputs. By allowing certain agricultural imports, such as potash, to enter the U.S. market without additional tariffs, policymakers aim to stabilize farming costs and sustain competitive pricing for agricultural products. Without exemptions, American farmers would face increased fertilizer costs, which could drive up overall production expenses, potential declines in crop yields, leading to lower supply and higher market prices, economic strain on rural communities, impacting employment and local businesses. Exemptions would, however, provide relief by ensuring stable fertilizer costs, supporting domestic food production and price stability, strengthening U.S.-Canada trade relations. Despite these advantages, Opponents argue that exemptions could undermine the broader intent of trade policies. Protecting one sector while enforcing tariffs in others could create inconsistencies in economic strategy. Political and trade implications. Trade decisions often spark political debate, and tariff exemptions are no exception. The prospect of excluding Canadian potash from tariffs intersects with diplomatic relations between the US and Canada, as well as domestic policy considerations. Stakeholders, including farming organizations, policymakers, and economists, have weighed in on the potential exemptions. While agricultural leaders generally support exemptions, advocating for stable production costs, trade protectionists argue that removing tariffs undermines broader economic strategies. Additionally, exemptions could impact international trade negotiations. Canada, as a major exporter of potash, has welcomed discussions on tariff relief, emphasizing the importance of continued agricultural collaboration with the U.S. future outlook and policy considerations. As the Trump administration weighs the decision to exempt certain agricultural inputs from tariffs, several future considerations emerge. Alternative trade policies, exploring long-term solutions that balance trade protections with agricultural needs. Sustainability and innovation, developing domestic alternatives to imported fertilizers. Global trade relations, strengthening partnerships between U.S. farmers and international agricultural suppliers. Exempting potash from tariffs could set a precedent for future trade discussions, influencing policy decisions beyond agriculture. Conclusion: the debate over tariff exemptions for agricultural inputs underscores the complexity of trade policy and its direct impact on farming communities. While tariffs aim to protect domestic industries, they can also create economic strain when applied to essential commodities. For American farmers, the possibility of exempting Canadian potash from tariffs presents a potential lifeline, ensuring stable production costs and food security. As policymakers navigate trade negotiations, balancing economic strategy with agricultural sustainability remains crucial. The broader conversation about tariff exemptions extends beyond fertilizers, shaping future decisions that will influence food production, market stability, and trade relations. The Trump administration's contemplation of agricultural tariff exemptions reflects an ongoing effort to address economic challenges while safeguarding the viability of U.S. agriculture. Moving forward, stakeholders must consider the long-term implications of trade policies, ensuring balanced and sustainable agricultural practices.